Alrighty, how we looking? Alright. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Finglui Mugawanov Cthulhu. Rilye. Gognoggle Fat. Welcome to the day of our Lord, Cthulhu Cthursday, in which we embrace the mauled. Well, we embrace the mauled every day, to be frank. We embrace the try-harder ethos, and we sink our teeth into a nice nice ball of eldritch madness of cosmic lunacy, of dark arts. That's what we're about on this stream. The dark magics. Practical application of eldritch wisdom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be... last week, we took on the box Spring on TryHackMe. And we spent 4 hours, if I recall, on that machine. And only managed to get user. The user was very involved and required a lot of steps. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I honestly am a little hazy on how it went. Before the stream, I actually wanted to look up a write-up to refresh my memory on how this box went. Because I honestly don't remember. And I don't remember it very strongly. And I couldn't find a write-up for it. So if I remember right, I think there was an exposed.git directory. And we were able to extract... we were able to dump the git directory out and then rebuild the entire Java application, if I recall correctly. We were able to rebuild the entire Java application and get some credentials out of it.
Finally
and also
figured out the cancer that is Microsoft SQL to do an error-based squeal injection. Dumped some goodies and rooted the box, and got to fish a user on another.
Yep, MSSQL has a little bit different of a syntax, but it's one of the most common that you'll see in the real world, so I highly recommend that you get used to that syntax, because I think I see it more commonly than MySQL, that's for sure. I see MSSQL is probably the most common thing that I see in corporate environments. Got to fish a user on another. Maybe in some less robust environments, some smaller startup companies, you'll see more MySQL, but for corporate environments, MSSQL is dominant. So nice job on that, Jiffaram. Congratulations. Thanks for the 100 Tegel biddies. So we got some credentials out of it, and I think we... Oh, yeah, we got access to the actuator. Okay, I'm starting to remember. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, we got access to the actuator endpoint because there was an arbitrary HTTP header that had to be set, if I remember right. And through the actuator endpoint, we were able to able to find code execution. We were able to find remote code execution and actually get a shell on the box. But that was not user access, believe it or not. We were only running as the nobody user, if I recall right. And from there, we enumerated for a while. We ran linps and found just fucking nothing. But we did determine that it was very likely the intended path to pivot to some user that was on the box. I don't remember the name of the user. There's only one other user account other than root. We had to pivot to that user account, and I eventually got a little bit of a hunch because some of the passwords we had found in the web application were similar, and we eventually decided to try spraying passwords, which might sound a little silly in a CTF, but honestly is very realistic. You do a lot of password prediction and password spraying in real life. This is very common. So you should definitely be aware of that, and be prepared to use it. It is a very common vector of attack. So we ended up screwing corkscrews into our eyeballs and into our and actually get all the way down deep into the retinas. And oh, I'm sorry. Did I? What was I saying? I mean, we were bash scripting. We were writing a bash script to brute force to do an SU brute force. So basically, brute force his password through the switch user command. Oh, hi, honey. You decided to come out all of a sudden? Stars rubbing against my legs. Didn't you take notes? Yes. I took notes that consisted of like 4 passwords. So that was the notes that I took. That was not sufficient. I keep telling you guys to take better notes. I take much better notes on real assessments, but on stream, I'm typically occupied with engaging with chat and doing the hacking, and a lot of times taking notes does fall by the wayside. We do have some stuff here. We have, if we go back to it, you can see my notes here. This is the notes that I have. So we do have that, yeah, git. Oh, the user was John Smith, apparently. And these were the passwords that we were able to extract. These were the passwords we were able to extract from the web application. And this one is the password we were able to brute force. So there you go. So this is us exploiting the actuator. Okay. Yeah, so we do have a password now. We have John Smith's password. And if SSH is open, which is usually is, we shouldn't have a problem just getting right back to where we were on this box. So we shouldn't have to re-exploit everything, if I remember correctly. All right, so let's do TryHackMe Spring. But we're not going to get started just yet. I do have something I do want to talk about really quickly. His notes consists of YouTube links to The Office clips. No, they don't. I've shown like 2 clips of The Office on the entire history of my stream. JZ1999, thank you for the gifted indoctrination into the cult. Thank you. Welcome, Sheer Force. So, I'm always looking to update my content. I want to take on new challenges. I want new challenges. I want new eldritch learnings. And I think I've decided that we're going to take this. We're always going to be doing hacking. We're always going to be doing Hack the Box. We're always going to be doing TryHackMe. That's always going to be my core content. But I believe every so often we're going to be doing, and by every so often I mean pretty often, we're going to be doing streams of that revolve around cryptocurrency and blockchain security. Why am I going in this route? Because crypto's not going away, okay? Crypto's not going away. So pen testers, at some point, are going to need to be well-versed in blockchain security. We're just going to need to know. We're gonna need to know the security implications of this technology are relatively obscure and esoteric at this point. And I'm really curious about it. And I'm already seeing the questions in chat. Is Al becoming a crypto bro? Has Sigma Al taken over? Has Sigma Al, in true Sigma fashion, taken over the rest? At what point is he releasing his cultist NFT project, and laying out his roadmap we're not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that. We will not. When I say we're going to be getting into crypto, I do not mean in any way that we will be investing in crypto, nor will I be pushing anybody or even suggesting that anybody invest in crypto. Now, I know all the fucking dipshit crypto bros say something like they'll put like not investment advice in their Twitter bios so that they think that makes them not liable for potential securities fraud. This genuinely will not be about investment at all. We are not going to be discussing cryptocurrency from the typical anarcho-capitalist dystopia, the anarcho-capitalist dystopian hellscape that the general crypto community exists in. Nor will we be selling NFTs. I've actually received several emails from various startups requesting to partner with me and help me sell you guys NFTs. And I have always responded absolutely not, because in no uncertain terms, I would rather be waterboarded literally daily than peddle NFTs to my fans. I just wish all of the anarcho-capitalists would, so we're not going to be doing any of that, okay? We do not believe in cryptocurrency as we're not going to be exploring cryptocurrency as investment. This is not about investment. We are purely interested in the technology itself, as in the code. We are interested in, we'll start with, I'm starting with interest in Ethereum, Solidity, and smart contracts. Okay, we'll be starting there. We're going to be coding some smart contracts on stream, just getting a feel for it. And then we're going to go right into smart contract security. What vulnerabilities can exist in Solidity, which is the code that Ethereum smart contracts are written in? That's the programming language. What quirks about Solidity make smart contracts exploitable? Because, as I've been told, Solidity is a clusterfuck, which makes it very nuanced to code in. For people who don't understand how the language works. How can contracts be smart if we aren't smart? That's kind of one of the things about smart contracts that I think we're going to uncover. That the name is so comically full of itself that I feel embarrassed even calling them that, but that is what they are called, so I have to call it that. We will be dealing primarily with Ethereum to start, because, and we're not going to go into the differences right now. When we first start getting into this, we will go into how blockchains work. I will describe to you the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we need an underlying foundation of how these things work. Okay. But again, we will be approaching this primarily from a researcher standpoint. We are interested in the security aspects of this debacle that is cryptocurrency. And I know many, we are not going to be like Jonathan Data, okay? Jonathan Data calls himself a crypto researcher now. What that apparently means is crypto researching is apparently just shilling for various cryptocurrencies, and every so often just searching for a wallet, just Googling a Bitcoin wallet, and seeing recent transactions that it's done, and pointing out fancy-looking charts on his Twitter, as if it means something. That apparently is what Jonathan Data considers on Twitter to be crypto research. No, we are going to be looking into we'll start with, again, Ethereum and smart contract security, and we'll go from there, depending on where our research leads us. I've started setting up a dev environment. I have a whole separate VM set up for this purpose, and I'm going to start installing all the required all of the required tech on it pretty soon. I think this should be very fun. I think it should be a good time. Notably, we will be approaching this from an angle that is critical of cryptocurrency. We will attract some attention, I'm sure, from the crypto sphere. And that is okay. That is fine. But keep in mind, we are not, I promise you guys, we are not looking, I will be doing the opposite of trying to push you to invest in any cryptocurrencies. This is not about investment. This is not about making money in any regard. This is about purely my curiosity regarding how blockchain works, and specifically Ethereum at the moment, because as I will describe when we start going into how blockchains work, Ethereum is substantially more sophisticated and powerful than Bitcoin, and we're going to be, and I genuinely think I've spent the last a good number of hours over the last several days reading through Ethereum documentation and documentation on Solidity, and I'm genuinely impressed with, honestly, how well written it is. It's written by people who are clearly passionate about this stuff, and I can see why they're passionate about it, because the tech is cool. What it's being used for is not, and we will discuss that. But hopefully I'll be able to highlight, in addition to the shortcomings of cryptocurrency and where it can go awry, hopefully we can highlight some positive aspects of it as well. Will we be able to check our girlfriend's blockchain to see if she bought something from Walgreens for $39.99? Yes. That is how blockchains work. They are completely non-privacy. Anything that's on a blockchain is the opposite of private. It is completely world readable for anybody who's willing to do a Google search. And we will discuss that when we get into the blockchain. So, we won't be doing that every single time. Can we host Vitalik? I don't think I would want a crypto show on my stream. Again, we're mostly going to be poking holes in the security aspects of it. Game Daddle with the 5-month re-indoctrination of the cult. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Ite Prox, thank you for the follow. Like, my conception of Ethereum is just reading the documentation. I'm impressed with it. It's sophisticated. And it just reminds me of how the anarcho-capitalists ruin fucking everything. Like, sometimes I just wish that anarcho-capitalists would go out somewhere and, like, build a giant city somewhere, like, at the bottom of the ocean. Probably run by a charismatic white man. He's a white man purely by coincidence. There would be no particular reason. They accept all races, but the charismatic leader is definitely a white man. And perhaps this person says things like, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? And what's the difference between a man and a parasite? A man builds and a slave obeys. Or a man chooses and a slave obeys. These are all like, a bunch of lofty statements that aren't really making any concrete claims. They just kind of feel nice. God, is really no one getting this? Is really no one in chat being, like, understanding this reference? Not real, yeah. There are other cities at the bottom of the ocean in popular culture, Orlin. It's BioShock, people. I'm doing a BioShock thing. Oh, I Am Miracle knows it's BioShock now. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. Well, it doesn't really matter. My point is that it went so well for the anarcho-capitalists and BioShock. I don't understand why they didn't just go off and do that. I don't understand why they don't go off and do that. It worked really well for them. I'll hear him talk about all anarcho-capitalists. All right. So again, we're gonna be doing crypto on stream, boys. And again, it's not going to be a crypto stream. This is purely going to be coding. It's going to be hacking, and it's going to be poking holes in smart contracts, developing malicious smart contracts, developing malicious NFTs, figuring out how all this stuff works, and how this system, like any system, can be subverted by a clever person. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to be dabbling in some cool shit. And at no point will I push you to buy my collection of NFTs. I assure you. I will not be doing any NFT projects. I will not be partaking in any investment. We will be exploring the development aspects of cryptocurrency and the technical concerns. That's not what we're doing today. Today we're doing Spring from TryHackMe, which I just realized I should have been spinning up. Have you tried Spring? I have. We got most of the way through it last time. We got user last time, and I think we got a good ways toward root. I'm just gonna log in to TryHackMe and we'll spin up String. I see that fit deck. Let me just start getting logged in and set up here. I just feel like we can't just do Hack the Box and TryHackMe all the time. I want to explore new horizons. I want to explore new things. I want to learn new stuff. And I think that cryptocurrency's been on my mind a lot lately. And I think it's a cool technology to explore. And we're going to get on the cutting edge on this stream, okay? How many other hackers out there are exploring cryptocurrency? I can tell you a lot of people in cybersecurity aren't doing this kind of stuff. They're not doing cryptocurrency. They're not involved in it. But so we're going to be on the cutting edge, kids. Okay? We're going to be on the we're going to be out here on the cutting edge. We're going to see what cryptocurrency is really like. How robust that tech really is. We're going to be putting it through its paces. I've been gambling since 2016. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll give you a full disclosure. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin several years ago, and I just intending to sit on it. I didn't really plan on doing anything with it at the time. I just thought I'd buy some and sit on it just for fun, and it's still in there. I still have the wallet. I still have it there. I haven't touched it. Nor have I put any more money into it. It's not investing. Never was anything that really interested me. But I am interested in the technology behind it. I am interested in the technology of crypto. And that's what we will be exploring on the stream. We'll start with purely how blockchains work, how Ethereum works. So you're saying you're rich? I didn't invest all that much, my dude. It's inflated to a decent amount, I guess. But it's, I make enough money on that I have never really felt the need to extract it. I'm just kind of just letting it sit there. All right, so we have, we'll start the machine up here. Okay. The machine is starting. How do magnets work? Well, so when current moves, it generates what we call a magnetic field. When electrical current moves, it generates a magnetic field, and that is how magnets work, essentially. That is how magnets work, essentially. Dude, magnets have nothing to do with electricity. Maybe take a physics class and get back to me on that, bucko. Take a physics class, and I think you'll revise that statement. We should have Drunk Science Hour with Al on Fridays. You just want more of my time, don't you? We already basically do have Drunk Science Hour. It just takes place in the Discord. Just come into Foot's Discord. Last week in the Discord, I played through all of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in the Discord in one sitting. So that's the kind of stuff you're missing if you're not in Foot's Discord. Foot Picks for Sales Discord on Fridays and Saturday evening. Let's do Stream Raiders really quick. He was playing Sonic with the most annoying sound effects. Excuse you, Maticus Maximus. What annoying sound effects? All those sound effects are fucking bangers, dude. Natural ferromagneticity has nothing to do with electricity passing through materials. Okay, well now the goalposts have been moved, haven't they? Now instead of talking about magnets, we're talking about ferromagnets, which are a different thing. But ultimately, still about the movement of current. It's just not the movement of current through a wire or anything like that. We're talking about electrons moving inside of a particular material. It's typically a metal. But it's still the movement of current that causes a magnetic field. That's how it works. And if you don't think that's how it works, I encourage you to take a physics class and get back to me. Okay. Okay, Ashriel! Holy shit. This... Oh my god. Okay. Deep breaths. Define current. Azrael, define current. What is the literal definition of current? Define current. I swear to God, some people in my chat have brains so smooth you could use them as curling stones. This is incredible. Current is literally defined as the movement of electric charge. That is literally... So your quote is, movement of electric charges, yes, but movement of current, no. It hurts, chat. It hurts. It hurts. Hold me, chat. Your first explanation was more in line of an Buddy, I said magnets. I said magnetic fields are caused by moving electric charge, which is a factually, scientifically correct statement. That is scientifically correct. Magnetic fields are caused by the movement of electric charge, by current. No, it's all good, Azrael. It's all good. I understand that people don't understand magnets. It's even a meme. Alrighty, the box is spun up. We did Stream Raiders. I will do the fit deck. Hang on a second. Magnets and birds aren't real anyway. Again, it's all good. I'm not mad at you, Azrael.
Magnets and birds aren't real anyway.
I appreciate the 100 single biddies. It's all good. We do a little trolling. We do a little banter. We do a little banter on the stream. Does the charge need to be accelerating? No. Moving charge creates a magnetic field. That's how it works. Moving charge, like if you were to hold them, if you were to hold a magnet up to it, if you were to measure the magnetic field next to a wire, you would see a magnetic field. Or there would be a magnetic field around a wire. Any moving electrical charge will cause a magnetic field. Alrighty. Sit-ups. We'll do 32 sit-ups. hate that I have to adjust this camera 50 times a day. Aren't those crunches? They're... I mean, yeah, I don't go all the way up, but no one goes all the way up. You're not supposed to. Alrighty. Do you prefer working from home or the office? Depends. Working from home is great, okay? Because I get to sit there in my pajama pants and have YouTube going or whatever I want during the day while I work. And that's all great. However, nobody warns you when you're younger that when you're an adult, it's going to be hard to make friends. It's going to be hard to have it's easy to become socially isolated as an adult, especially if you're working from home. If you're working from home, it's really easy to become socially isolated. You don't see the people you interact with most of the time are the people at work. And if you don't have like a steady friend group that lives around you, it can be easy to like feel socially isolated. So if I could get into a teleporter in the morning, if I could get up, put some decent clothes on, shower, in that order, of course, hop into a teleporter and just show up at work and then sling code with my buddies in the bullpen all day, and then hop back in that teleporter and come back home at night, then I would prefer to work from the office. Because it's just more of a social environment. It's more fun to have your friends around. It's more fun to have your buddies around. That being said, the reality of the situation is you have to get in a car. You have to get into a big steel box at the same time that everybody else is getting into their big steel boxes, and then vie with all these other steel boxes on a skinny pathway all the way to where you're going every single day. And that absolutely drives me fucking insane. Before I worked remotely, I was blowing an hour. I was blowing an hour 15 on the low end every single day, at least, in traffic. And yeah, I alleviated it with audiobooks and stuff, but it still feels like an hour and a half of your day is just lost, which fucking sucks ass. Commuting is absolutely the fucking worst shit ever. So yeah, working remotely was great just because it got rid of the commute. I'd rather be socially isolated and not have to commute. We could do what we did in Tahoe and all live in a bleak mansion, all working remotely but hanging out with the crew every day. Dude, I would totally do that. Wait. We could call it a commune, but maybe I wouldn't call it a commune because it has Jonestown vibes. It'd be like a Hacker Jonestown, but without the punch. That's probably not going to be the way we describe it on the in the white paper or whatever that we pitched this project in, but basically that would be... Don't take away the Kool-Aid. That was super fun, though. I did like just sticking around in Tahoe and working from there, even if it was... I had a really rough week in work that week, but despite that, it was good to have the bros around. That was the optimal work environment, I would have to say. Cat Thrower, thank you for the follow and the 100 Tegel biddies. Thank you so much. Let's get started on this box, friends. We have burned so much time. Let us get started on this box. You guys keep me talking about stuff. Let's get going. All right. Bop over to... Okay, we're doing TryHackMe's Spring. This is a new Kali machine. From the last one. So I do not have my directory. So let's start up tmux. Okay. This is a new Kali machine. I rebuilt my Kali machine the other day. We'll see if 422 is open. Did you figure out your tmux keys yet? Mostly? Yeah, I'm still getting used to them. Oh, we didn't even connect to the... You know what? I've been using... I decided to set up... I had to set up a development environment for the crypto dev stuff we're going to be doing. So I've started doing that, and I got a whole VM set up. And I decided to do it in Parrot because I've never used Parrot before. And I understand it's still another Debian-based operating system. It's not going to be all that different from Kali under any circumstances. But I did want to see. People had recommended Parrot to me before, so I decided to get in there, give it a try. So we do have a Parrot machine here now. You can see it right here. Parrot is a bird, right? It's also a penetration testing distro similar to Kali. And the color scheme and the logo look really, really nice. It all looks very nice. But there are some weird... I mean, at its core subterminal, it's the same shit. It's still another Debian-based distro. The logo is different. The overall look of the OS is roughly the same if you're using XCE or XKCE. Or XFCE. I don't know what I'm even saying. If you're assuming you're using XFCE, it looks very similar to Kali with a different logo, different skin over it. Yeah, I don't know why I said XK. I think I was thinking KDE. I like to work in KDE. This is KDE, this desktop environment. But standard Kali uses XFCE, and I just like to be different. XFCE is the default in Parrot as well. It just has some weird idiosyncrasies with the install process. Like, I installed it. I see you're using GNOME. I prefer KDE myself. I didn't get it from Tyrell Wellick, Maticus Maximus. Stop with that. I was using KDE before Tyrell Wellick said that. I just like how KDE looks. I got a liking to it early on. I use Arch. I used Arch for a little while. I used Black Arch. The problem with Arch is that a lot of the tools that we use for penetration testing are, like, designed for Kali. Like, they're designed specifically with Kali in mind because Kali is the industry standard. And that doesn't mean you can't get them working on Arch. You absolutely can. But there were too many instances where I was just having tools error out, and I was just having to burn time trying to figure out how basic tools work in Arch. And I just got tired of wasting my time with it, so I went back to Kali again. The thing about Parrot is basically the same as Kali. There's just some weird idiosyncrasies. Like, when I spin up Kali and I start the terminal, it's good to go. It already looks like this. I added this date thing because I think this date looks nice. And also, it's important for my logging. I use it for my actual work. It's important to have logging in my terminal. And the date gets logged with every command. The time and date get logged with every command here. And I added some other things, like I installed this nice tmux skin. I tweaked my ZSH a little bit. But ultimately, that's all just customization. Kali looks fine out of the box. Out of the box, I can start up the terminal. Kali is working exactly as expected. All the files are in place, and you're good to fucking go. The problem with Parrot is that you get started, and and I can't show it to you right now because I don't have Parrot open. I don't want to open it up right now. But I immediately started up, and the prompt looks like this. The colors look different, but it still has, like, this bar down here. But, like, there isn't this space. So, like, the command that you're typing starts right after this $sign. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was very annoying. Like, I was immediately annoyed when I saw it. I'm like, really? Every command is just going to be shoving up against this $sign? And then I go to, so I'm like, I'll just add a space into the prompt. Easy. Just go into ZSHRC. Sure enough, there is a ZSHRC in the main folder, but modifying it doesn't change anything. And so I check my shell, and it turns out you're using bash. Like, the default shell is bash, but there's no bash RC in the home folder. There's a ZSHRC, but not a bash RC. ZSH is not even installed by default. I have to install it, and then I install it, and then I set my shell to ZSH. This is all in Parrot, not Kali. This all took place last night. I install ZSH, and I switch my shell to ZSH, and it throws all these errors at the beginning that I know from experience are caused by ZSHRC thinking that it looking for my ZSH, but my ZSH not being installed. My ZSH is installed by default on Kali, and it seems like Parrot is supposed to have it installed, but it's not. Just for no reason, my ZSH is not installed. ZSH is not installed. There's a ZSHRC in the home directory that expects my ZSH, but you're not even using ZSH, you're using bash, and there is no bash RC in the home folder. So it's just using the system default. Like, all of this is easily fixable. Like, I can just download ZSH, I can install my ZSH, I can add a bash RC. All this stuff is easily fixable, but why? Why do I have to go through this stuff on just a base install of Parrot? I just installed it with default options. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't understand. Like, why? Like, when I spin up Kali, it's fucking good to go. Like, I'm ready to start pen testing if I want to. I don't have to sit here. I sit here doing all this customization because I think it looks nice. And because it's going to be on stream, so it has to look nice to you guys. But Parrot, it looked nice, I guess, except for this little space thing that was, again, driving me fucking nuts. I eventually did fix it. It's fixed now. If you see my Parrot, it is fixed now. But it was annoying, that prompt. Anyway, that Parrot, other than that, has been fine. It's been the same as Kali, other than those weird oddities in getting it set up. By the way, we do see this SSH open, so let's go ahead and SSH into the box. John Smith at 1010-111-202. Yes. Oh, fuck. Hunt. Why? Why do you do this to me? So it looks like we're going to have to re-exploit this box from the beginning because you cannot use passwords. We have John Smith's password, but we cannot use passwords to log into this box. You do require an SSH key to log into this box, which we do not have. He didn't get the private SSH key. I didn't have time, dude. Like, we got user, and then, like, we were, like, 4 hours in already. So I was just like, we have to call it quits there. So I guess we have to re-exploit this machine from the beginning. Alrighty. If I remember right, there was a web server, and there was a Git. There was a Git directory. We're just gonna we're just gonna speed run it. We're speed running it. Let's do it. Latest Java vulnerability? No, we're not using Spring for Shell. This box was released before Springs for Shell came to light. We will need burp. Someone just asked what. You didn't accuse me. You're good. You're all good. If I seem mad, I'm never actually mad at chat. I've never, in the entire history of my time streaming, I've never been mad at chat. I play mad at chat just because we do a little trolling. We have fun. We have fun on this stream. Well, except when Maticus tells me to stop malding. Okie dokie. I still have not installed Foxy Proxy. I need to install Foxy Proxy on this thing. And hack tools. Okay, so there was, if I remember right, let's just do the, there was a Git repo. Okay, so we have a self-signed certificate. Hello world. And I think there was like a sources.git. .git. Now recall, if you want to check for the presence of a .git directory, you always want to git head. Okay? That's what you're remembering. You're looking to get some head. You want to git head. Okay, that didn't work. Is it source? I thought it was like a subdirectory. Damn it. I might have to go buster it again. Or it might just be in the root. For some reason, I think it was in a... I might just have to go buster it again.
Hey, listen.
Thank you for the 100 Tiggle Biddies, Oreo Bite. What am I listening to? I am listening to chat all the time. Okay? At all times, I'm listening to chat. Looks like port 80 and 443 are open, which we already knew. So we'll go buster. Dir, tech U.
Hackerman.
Tech W, user, share, word lists. Dir buster. So the .git directory is not in this word list. That's one of the main failings of this word list. I have to remember to manually test for it every single time. We have to include TAC K options so that we can do SSL with the self-signed certificate. And we'll do 50 threads because I want this to happen in a reasonable length of time. I think there was a subdirectory that had the .git directory in it. Sources. Damn it. So it was in sources.
Mr. Streamer, may you plaza no miss so many molds, thanks. Hey listener.
When you may please miss no many molds. What molds have I missed? Maticus Maximus! I missed your mold on purpose! At this point, I am constantly molding over Maticus Maximus telling me to stop molding. Sit down and shut up before I turn this stream around. Oreo Bite, thank you so much with the 100 Tiggle Biddies. Adam Fallon with the first time Prime. Welcome to the All Has Red Team, my friend. Fraggle with the 100 Tiggle Biddies. Hackerman indeed. This is Gloom also with the first time Indoctrination. Welcome. Okay, I thought there was a .git in here. How am I wrong? What am I forgetting about this fucking box? Is it in my notes? Does anybody remember which directory we were in? I thought it was sources.git. But it is not, it does not appear to be there. Okay, well, maybe we'll just brute force the sources directory. Figure it out. Sources get
ring,
Ligma?
ring, 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 ring. Banana phone, get wrecked with that stuck in your heads the rest of the day.
What's the Ligma directory, Raul? Oh, new. Maybe it's inside of sources new. Okay, there it is. Again, so if you're checking for a .git directory manually, you want to git head. The head file is always in there. It points to the current branch of the current authoritative branch of the repo, which right now is master. Okay. So that is how you test for a .git directory. A lot of times you won't be able to browse directly to .git. If it exists, but you may be able to git head, if that makes sense. So we do need a tool here. I think there's an entire like tool set. It's like Git tools, yeah, down here. This is what I want. Git tools. Bingo. 3 small Python scripts used for Git research. This is the one I was using before, and it worked fine. So we'll do this. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Is this the one with the directory traversal? No, this one was a Java application. There's an expose.git directory that we are going to extract. Dumper. We'll just do git dumper.sh tac h. Destination direct. So it's https:// this. Okay. And then the destination directory is home TryHackMe. Oh, home Alhazred TryHackMe Spring. Apparently it's a little bit picky. Okay, that is not what I wanted.
At lurl at lurl at lurl at lurl.
Sorry, just trying to remember how this thing works. Oh, I can now click on these. I forgot. I made it so that you can click on these. Okay. Oh my god, I did it again. Oh my god, I can't stop. I can't stop, chat. I'm out of control. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so we're downloading the Git directory. Now, is this actually the code of the web application? What are we actually downloading here, chat? Technique and Jifferam with the 69. Nice. Tiggle bitties. Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone.
Ring, 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 ring. Banana
way too long. Okay. Are you still able to highlight stuff and copy it with the click set to on? Mine almost seemed to go into constant visual mode in Vim when trying to copy stuff. It seems to work fine. I think. I've been using it this whole time. I've been copy and pasting just fine. It seems to work okay. I hope it doesn't do that. So what we're downloading is changes to the repository that have been made over time. They are compressed in a it's not zip, but it's a similar. All of the commits and objects are compressed down into a small size, and they're stored here. Basically, you're tracking all the versions of this repo and branches and all this stuff. It's keeping track of all the changes that have been made to this code. Okay, so here we are with .git, git log. We can see what commits. So which one is the most? This one is the most recent commit, and we see that there have been two commits. Usually, if you do a git log on any Git repository that's been around for any amount of time, you're going to see a lot more commits than this. We see this was the initial commit, and this was the current commit. Now, in order to get the code back to see what this commit looks like. Okay, it seems to be being weird about copying now. Did it copy? No, it did not. I think you might be right, chat. That maybe the copy and pasting has gone haywire on us. Yeah, it looks like the copy and pasting have kind of gone haywire on us. I had to turn mine off. Okay, we'll turn it off for this situation. I'll have to play with it off stream, but I don't want to do that right now. It's vim.tmux.conf.local. We'll just turn it off for right now. That just involves commenting out this line in the config. I'll have to either keep that off, which shouldn't be a big deal. I can work with it. That's how I had it before anyways. Okay, we're back in. So, git log. So now we can copy. There we go. And we're going to do git reset, I think. Git reset tac hard and then the commit. Oh. That you're going to need the hash of the commit. And now you see we have all these files in here that weren't here before. See that? We just got a whole bunch of follows. Holy shit. What the fuck just happened? I think we just got follow-botted, chat. I believe we just got follow-botted. Yeah, I'll have to... I'm gonna mute the alert box so that it doesn't keep making that noise for us. There we go. So I've just... God damn it, it's still making the noise. There it goes. So I've temporarily hidden the alert box. I'll bring it back. But we just got follow-botted, I believe. This happens on Twitch every so often. There's not really anything I can do about it. I don't even know why people do this. I don't know why this happens. It happened to me pretty early on, too. Mr. Streamer, why don't you add the one line of code to your tmux.com file that will allow you to use xclip to copy out of the tmux copy buffer into your secondary clipboard so you don't have to click and drag it over. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that on stream. This is not a tmux configuration stream, OreoBite. Before I didn't do any configuration to my tmux at all, and I was just freeballing with the normal shit. I've only just recently started doing tmux configuration, and everyone, all of the snotty nerds are up here like, Mr. Streamer, don't you know you can install a Powerline font and make your prompt look slightly better? Like that's the like all of the sweaty nerds are coming in here trying to like tell me how they specifically have their prompt set up and wondering why I don't have it that way. Thank you, OreoBite. This is not a tmux configuration stream. I'll play with it off stream. Zachary P, thank you for the follow. I think the appropriate term is neck. Oh, that definitely is the appropriate term. So we've asked Git to go ahead and restore that commit for us. So here we have all the files. And I believe that we looked in source. Main, perhaps? Java? Let's just tree. Tree source. I don't have tree? Are you kidding me? Do you have follower-only messages? I assume you knew maybe want to plan accounts to sell spam links later and then use them themselves. I'm not looking to, like, hack anyone back or anything. I just don't understand why I get follow-botted. Random question, but would you ever consider playing some King of the Hill? We play King of the Hill once every couple of months. We played King of the Hill quite a few times on stream. We have a good time with it. We've done most of the boxes on stream at this point. Alright, so we'll tree the source directory. We can see this application.java is what we're looking for. I don't think it was this one. There might be something in there. Okay, so there's just nothing in there. So we're going to want main. It's application.java. Okay, so this is the main code of the web application. We can see that it's interesting. I didn't notice this before. I thought it was just printing hello world to the screen. It's actually not. It accepts a parameter. That's new. So if I do, what is it? A name parameter. Name. Al-Hazred? Oh. Will it do that with a post request? Now I'm curious. That's very odd. I did not notice that before. Oh, I'm not intercepting on HTTPS. God damn it. I have to import the stupid certificate. Let me just do that really quickly, I guess. I need its certificate. And now we import it. We are adding burp's SSL certificate so that we can intercept HTTPS traffic. I also have to set that in the proxy settings. There. Okay. So now it should work. There we go. Okay, we get that. And we should see... And we do see our request. Okay. So we send that, we get hello, how's red. Will this work with a post request? Change request method. It is quite interesting. What else does this code say that I didn't notice before? It accepts a if an application accepts user input, this is very if an application accepts user input, that's always a thing to look at. Here, it only seems to be using. Is there a different use of the name? I can't imagine like Is it not being used anywhere else? It is not being used anywhere else. Only in this one specific class. And where is Hello World Controller getting instantiated? I'm sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. I don't really know why this is here. It could just be like a little thing for the... Yeah, it's not anything. It must just be a little thing that the application developer put in there just for funsies, because this name thing doesn't seem to be getting used for anything except for being printed to the screen. It's being... Interestingly... It's being printed to the screen and returned in the request separately. It's being printed to the Java console and that I don't know. It's a little odd. I don't know. It's probably nothing. So it does redirect us if we go to. So it is using Tomcat. Add pattern /star. And I think we discovered a password somewhere. Oh, here we also noticed this. This is the actuator endpoint, and we did some Googling about this and found that the actuator endpoint is like a debug console almost. It's like a debug API. We need to be coming from this IP address. You can reach actuator if you can reach this IP address. Every other directory is forbidden, which you can tell up here. The sources directory is allowed, but every other one is false. Is set to redirect. Now, where did we find those credentials? We found credentials somewhere. I think it was in application properties. What does tree do for you? Tree command shows you all the folders and files in a directory that you put it in. Like, so we're pointing it at the source directory, so it's just going to create this nice little graph for us to see what files and folders are in that directory. Is that Sigma at Al-Hazred if an app uses creds? I would say it's more Sigma if an app doesn't use creds. If it's just completely unauthenticated. I think it was application properties where we found credentials. Oh my god, I can't type. Okay. Yeah. So here's that pretty secure Spring password, 123. We have this right here. And we also have dummy key store passwords. So that was some, those were quite how is... Okay, the alert box is back on again. Why is my audio fucked up? Oh, that would be because I muted the tab. There we go.
A fine addition to my collection.
There you go. So we found a nice couple of credentials. This is always what you're looking for in these Git directories. You're not just looking for vulnerabilities in the code itself. You're looking for credentials. Anywhere you can find them. I just had a meet and greet with a leader on the red team in my company. Told me that I'm doing everything right to end up on his team, but it'd be best to first start in pen tests and then pivot to red team. That is correct. It'd be very unusual to go directly to red team. Most red teamers were pen testers first, and then slipped into the more the somewhat more niche version of red teaming. So yeah, I would agree with your. I would agree with your with that person. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and keep moving in the direction you want to be moving. Go to bed every night knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday, and you'll be fine. So we did get those credentials. All right, so we have that. There's also this other commit that we want to make sure we take a look at. There might be different credentials, especially because this Git message says change security password to my usual format. So we can do git reset that, and we see that two files have been changed, application.java and application.properties. Let's see what password is different. Pretty secure Spring password and dummy key store password. Those are still the same. Somehow we got this pretty secure key store password as well. I don't remember how we got that. It doesn't matter. The point is, what we really want to be taking from this is this line right here. Remote IP header, and it's setting an arbitrary HTTP header to define the remote IP. So if we, and recall, if we look back on if we look back at this, if the source IP of the request is coming from this internal IP address, internal subnet, then you can reach this actuator endpoint. Okay? And I think the one we tried to reach was actuator env. So we want to make use of that header. And this is not a normal thing, by the way, to just kind of set an arbitrary HTTP header as the remote IP. This is kind of security by obscurity. But in my opinion, security by obscurity is a little bit overrated, or a little bit underrated. And unless someone gains access to your source code, they're not going to be able to guess this. So it falls apart when someone gains access to your source code, though, of course. So if we go to proxy, let's send this to repeater. I want to see this one. Send this one to repeater. Get rid of this. Okay. So if we want to reach actuator env, we're going to get a forbidden here. Yeah, we get a 403. We get a 403 forbidden. But if we add this HTTP header and set our IP address to 172.16.0. Anything in the /24 will work. We'll say 5. Now all of a sudden we get a 200 OK. So they had a little security by obscurity tomfoolery in here to protect this debugger console. It's not useless, but it's often used as a replacement of actual security. I agree. But it can be a part of a robust security program. Again, no one would have possibly been able to guess this unless they gained access to the source code. Which in this case we obviously have. We'll do Stream Raiders really quick before we continue. Just get diff the commits. Yeah, we could get diff, that's fine. But there were so few files to look at that it didn't really, and so few commits that it didn't seem to make sense. But yeah, you could get diff. Maticus Maximus popping off. 18 kills and 3 assists. Jesus. Your back must hurt after that one. Alrighty. Does anybody have any questions up until now? Any questions before we continue? No questions? Nothing? Everyone completely understands. Clear as mud. Okay. So, at this point, we checked... We found this blog post. If I recall right, someone from chat directed us to this blog post. Looking this deep into source code from a Git repo isn't very OSCP, is it? No. I would not say this is OSCP-like. This is more challenging than OSCP. Requires it requires an understanding of reading code and so on that OSCP doesn't really push for. But it's not like knowing how to do this is going to hurt you, because this kind of stuff happens in real life all the time. So we do have a way of executing code right here. Basically, send a post request to actuator/env endpoint, and this allows us to make a SQL query to the backend that will to set an alias of and that will create some Java code to run a shell command, essentially. It's a long exploit chain here, but no read, only copy. Okay, only copy paste. We do not read blog posts. We only copy and paste, and then we complain when it doesn't immediately work. I feel like I had problems getting this RCE to work last time. And I don't remember what problems I had, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. Oh, okay, I remember what I did. I think I had bad character issues, and so I ended up just downloading a shell script. So let's go ahead and do that. Vim Cthulhu.sh. In bash, and we will we're installing the browser extension. Let's do it. Add on. I've come to rely on that browser extension. Here we go. Add. There we go. We did it. Good work, team. Oh my god, it's in light mode again. Dark. That is much better. There we go. .2.54.81 is our IP. We'll use 8443. Copy that reverse shell. Come back in here. Paste that in. Host that on a web server. Head back into Burp. We want to change this request method to post. Oh, whoops. Change request method to post. Post that in there. And we will wget. I think it was 10.2.54.81, Cthulhu.sh.
Another Tmux cheese dust question, but do you plan to put the ton0 IP address in your Tmux config? So it shows up at the bottom of the terminal, not needing to fish for it all the time?
Mr. Streamer! My terminal looks slightly different than yours! Yeah, I can do that. I can add that too. That would definitely be helpful. Yes, very helpful. I could even put it like right over here or something instead of like the date and time, because that's kind of irrelevant. I could put it there. Again, I have to play with it. I'll have to play with it. Why does this say root? Oh, because I'm sudoing in this thing. So, if I recall right, we send this, right? Unsupported media type. Is that intended? Oh, it's because I had to do application JSON. Thusly. There we go. That looks right. So now we have to reset this thing, I think. Don't we? I think it said we have to reset this thing. There are two ways to trigger a new database connection. So whenever a new database connection is made, it will execute this Java code, which means it'll execute that command. So we just need to reset. I just had it. Where the fuck did it go? I just had it. Was it restart? Yeah, here we go. Sending a post request to actuate a restart or changing the number of database connections. Okay. We will just change it to a post to actuate a restart. And when we do this, we should get a hit on our web server. If we've done everything correctly, except I once again have an incorrect media type. Okay, we're restarting. Let's see if we get a hit here. There we go. We do get a hit. You had to use temp last time? Shit. I think you're right about that. Fuck. You're absolutely right. You are correct. So is it wget lowercase o or capital O? Because I always forget. I think it's log messages. It's capital O to write to a file. We'll test it here. wget http://localhost cthulhu.sh tac capital O temp cthulhu.sh. Okay. Okay, that works. It's capital O. God, I wished curl and wget were consistent. So we have to do tac capital O /temp /cthulhu.sh. Application JSON. Okay, we get a good response. We send another post request to actuator restart. We should get another hit here. We do. So now we can do netcat tech nlvp 8443 to listen. We come back over here and we do bin bash /temp /cthulhu.sh. Send that. We get a good response. We come back over here. We restart. And we get a shell.
Hackerman.
I'm in. All right. Any questions? Any questions about any of that, chat? Hello, I don't know much chat at all. Good to see you. Good to see you here. Glad you enjoy my rules. I like to keep it simple. You had to use /... Okay, yeah. Does anyone not understand how we got remote code execution on this machine? Does everybody get it? We're good? So keep in mind, we're running as nobody, which is of an account with minimum possible permissions, as the name suggests. Let's first stabilize our shell. Okay. Y raw minus echo. Okay. Rows 35, columns 119. Okay. So we now have a fully functional shell here. With tab autocomplete and everything. So at this point, we did quite a bit of enumeration last time before we determined a way forward. The only other machine user on this box other than root that has a login shell, the rest of these have like just no login, which indicates they're not really meant to be logged into. They don't have a shell. So this John Smith user has one. So if we cd/home John Smith to look at his directory, what we did notice is this Tomcat Logs, which is obviously interesting. The user.txt is in here. The user.txt is owned by John Smith. So at this point, we do need to get to John Smith in order to get user.txt. So that is our goal. We see he does have a .ssh directory, but it's not readable. What we eventually noticed, we did all this enumeration last time, and what we noticed is that he tends to use the same kind of password format over and over again. We only had these passwords last time. But what we were able to extrapolate is that he was using a password that starts with this and ends with this. And we ended up having to write a bash script that brute forced it, which was a giant pain in the fucking ass, because bash is a pain in the ass to write a script in. But we found that pretty secure account password 123 is his password. Again, we did that by brute forcing it. There we go. So we are now John Smith through magic, and we can cat the user.txt. Okay? Any questions there? Are you sure you don't want to redo the bash script with us? No. No, I would not. I would not like to do that. No. I would very much not like to do that. Does anybody have any questions? By the way, Oreo Bite, thank you for the 100 Seagull biddies, even if I roasted you a little bit. Nothing? Nothing? Alright. This is where we left off last time. Why stabilize the shell? Because we're in kind of a jerry-rigged reverse shell. We're missing a lot of things like tab autocomplete. It's not a fully interactive shell, so we can't use utilities like MySQL and SSH that require interactive prompts. We don't have we can't use Vim or Nano or other text editors. We can execute commands, but we don't have full functionality in the shell, which is just annoying. But now I have tab autocomplete. I can control C. I can use SSH and MySQL. The shell is just much more functional this way. It's much more functional. It's easy to use. It's as if we've SSH'd in here. Speaking of, before we go any further, let's just go ahead and generate a SSH key. Why is this happening? I'm just trying to create a new pane. God damn it, I'm still trying to get used to this new tmux. I think it's confused because I have a reverse shell. God damn it. I don't... What is this? I'm using the regular... I don't know what this is. How do I just create a new window? I swear to God, I've been doing this the same way I always have done it. Okay, well, that created a new session. I'm still getting used to these new... Okay, we started a new set. How do I just fucking make a new window? Why isn't it letting me make a new window? Well, now it lets me. I don't know what that was about. That was really weird. I'm still getting used to my tmux. Bear with me. Never used it before. Still getting used to it. There's some growing pains. Okay, I just completely derailed myself. Oh, yeah, SSH key gen. John Smith, RSA. No passphrase. Okay, so we created a new SSH key for John Smith. We have to cat out the public key. This part right here. Now we have to create an authorized keys file. Nano authorized keys. Paste that in. Okay. Okay. So now he has an authorized keys file with this public key in it. And if we go SSH tech I, John Smith RSA, John Smith at 10.10.111.202. And there we go. We get logged in as John Smith. Any questions about that? We've done that a lot of times. Let's go ahead and add an hour. What's the difference in his tmux? Before, I was just using a stock installation of tmux and stock key bindings. And now I'm using my tmux, which is why it looks different down here at the bottom. I'm using my tmux. And it has different key bindings and more functionality, but it's just stuff I have to get used to. Escatur and Aziz Saidi, thank you for the follow. Hopefully I didn't pronounce that incorrectly. All right. So immediately what we can notice is Tomcat Logs here. So we notice that some bunch of log files are being written to this server, it appears. And they're all from July, except for this one, which is from today. So my guess is that these are from when the box was originally spun up. So let's take a look at this one. This appears to just be the console output of the Java application. Is there anything in here that I should be concerned about? What we should note is that these files are owned by root. Whatever's writing these files is doing so as root, which is very interesting because we own this directory. So if we own this directory and root is writing files into this folder, what maybe potential exploitation vectors come to mind here, chat? What possible exploitation vectors come to mind? Docker escape? What the fuck are you people? No, there's no Docker container. What is happening? There's no Docker container. So, yeah, there could be a cron job. There could indeed be a cron job that is running as root. But if root is writing a file into a directory that we control, what could we potentially do, perhaps, to exploit that behavior? We control this directory. We have full ownership over this directory. We have read, write, execute permissions over it. I think Jiffaram is the closest, okay? So when you have file write as root, when the root user is writing files to a directory that you control, potentially you can get it to write, if you can get it to write to a SymLink acts like a regular file, but it's actually just pointing at a completely different file on disk. So we can essentially write to any arbitrary file as root, potentially. If we can predict, it looks like all these files have different names. And I think we determined, we saw this last time, and I think we determined that this is epic time. This appears to be epic time. If you don't know what epic time is, it's the number of seconds that have elapsed since, I think, 1970. January 1st, 1970, I think. Am I wrong about that? Whatever it's called, okay? It's the number of seconds that have elapsed since midnight on January 1st, 1970, I think. So this is the current epic time, 16505, and that's awfully close to this one. That's awfully close to this, so I bet you this is epic time. So that means, yes, we can indeed predict the file that root is going to write to. But it seems that when does root write? Because it's only written once today. This doesn't appear to be a cron job situation, because it wrote a whole bunch of times on July 12th of 2020, and then it only wrote once today. Epoch. Okay, Orland, it's epoch. Sorry, fucking sweaty nerds. Would we need a race condition to catch it? Basically we just need to predict. We just need to predict the time. We just need to predict. We just need to take the time. We're probably gonna have to write. Oh God. We're probably gonna have to write another bash script.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
We're gonna have to write another bash script to probably write a whole bunch of SymLinks. We're probably gonna have to write a whole bunch of SymLinks here to try and predict, because we're not gonna know the exact second. We need to figure out. My thought at this moment is that this is probably being run when the server stands up, which leads us to Etsy systemd to see if there's a service for this. Spring service. Yeah. Okay, so here's what's happening. So the spring service is running. It is currently running. And this is what's writing the log file right here. It's actually this part right here. So there's a sudo su happening to switch to nobody for the file here. To switch to nobody user, and that's why we were running as nobody user, because the web application itself is running as nobody. But this T command here, on the other hand, this T command right here is running as root. And we know that for sure, because back here, these files being written here are being written as root. So we can't control this. We cannot control these. But we can control files in this directory. So here's what we need to do. We need to write a symlink to this folder to predict the value of this log. The log file is clearly just epic time. So we'll probably write a whole bunch, like a whole minute worth, like 60 of these using a quick bash script. And I say quick, I'm sure I'll run into a million problems that make me take 3 hours to write it. Isn't the log file just static? It is for this run of the application. But I think that for every subseq, let's try and stop the service and restart it. Sudo. I don't think we can sudo, can we? Let's see if we can sudo. Can we stop this? May not run sudo. Systemctl. Oh my god. StarCraft always goes so hard. Stop. Systemctl restart spring.service. So we cannot restart the spring.service. We need another way. I need to restart this service. Did this restart command do it? This restart command, did this, no, it couldn't have. That didn't restart the service, did it? No, it did. We only have the one file being written today. Maybe we can stop it and start it again. We're gonna have to look up actuator stuff. Actuator. Java Spring actuator. Can I shut it down and start it up again? It doesn't appear that this is actually restarting it, at least not in a way that restarts the service itself on the Linux machine, because there's only one log file and we restarted it a couple of times. Let's see if there's another endpoint that'll be more useful for us. Most of this just returns scheduled tasks. Here's shutdown. Will it start back up again, though? I'm wondering if it'll start back up again if I send it shut down. Let's just experiment. We can always reset the box if we need to. We get no response. Still says it's running. Since 1 hour and 23 minutes ago. It doesn't look like it. We're not even getting a response. Oh, Maticus Maximus. He's triggered. Valhalla! Dude, I'm fucking stoked for God of War Ragnarok. When is that shit coming, dude? It's not responding at all. Like, the service seems to be down. But it says like it hasn't... And no additional log file has been written. I'm here so I don't get fined. Alright, we'll do Stream Raiders real quick. All right, get in there, boys. Oh, shit. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Does it really take this long? Like, we sent it to shutdown. Oh, we can't connect because the thing is frozen. I forgot, the web application is frozen. Because we're in our reverse shell still. Technique with the most kills, 19 kills, holy shit. And Fraggle with the most assists. Star is about to murder. She's rubbing against my legs right now. Come here, honey. Oh, yeah, I got her. Oh, yeah. Here's this lady. Now, see, you made a mistake. You came within arm's reach. This was your mistake. This was your mistake. Now you have to live with it. Do you have anything to say to the stream? Any concerns? Like how often you've been fed? Okay, quick long cat. She's very long. Long cat. Okay, go ahead, honey. There you go. All right. So, we discovered what the problem is. The problem is that the web application is hung right now because of our reverse shell. So we need to close out the reverse shell in order to get the web application moving again. We'll just kill that entirely. Okay. Okay. So now we do see that this has been written to, at least. And can we send? Okay, so now we're getting responses from the application again. So if we do shutdown, what happens? Shutting down by. So we do get something. Do we get status? 6 seconds ago, so it did restart. And it is writing to a different file. Ah.
Nice.
Alrighty. So, we know how we can restart the server. We know that we can restart the server. And at this point, we just need to write a symlink to this folder that predicts the exact that predicts the exact file name of this. And at that point, we will have arbitrary file write as root. Now, there will be some caveats to that file write, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But let's see if we can get it to write to the temp directory for right now. So we'll do, if you do, for example, ln tac h, just to remember what the ln syntax is. It's ln tac s target and then link name. So ln tac s and like temp test file dot text. And we can call it test.text. Okay? So you can see that in our terminal, this appears differently. This is a symlink. So this is not a real file. This is a symbolic link that's pointing at temp test file.text. Okay? What we need to do is create a whole bunch of these. That are all... because we're not sure exactly what the epic time is going to be. We're not sure exactly what the epic time. Keep in mind that each one of these are seconds. These are numbers of seconds. So every second is a new epic time here. So we'll probably do like a minute, like 60 symlinks in this folder. And one of those will go on to be used by the written to with this T command. One of them will go on to be written to with this T command, and we'll end up writing to temp test file.text instead. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand the exploitation path here? Jifferam bringing Dick Ryson, Mr. Faisal, Quickstir, B7H30, and iMiracle into the cult. Welcome, my friends. welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know much at all. Thank you for the follow. And thank you so much, Jifferam, for the very generous support of the stream. But we need to control the content written? Yes. But this is where... That's sort of the limitation that we have. We need to be able to control the output somehow. And the output is just the output of this. Oh my god. Oh yeah. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. This is how we control the output of the application. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of junk in it. We still do have limitations, but we can write arbitrary data to that file. This is where we can put our arbitrary data. What's the purpose of controlling the output? Because we need to be able, we can make root write to a file, but we need it to write our stuff to a file. It's not enough for root to be writing to a file in most cases. We need root to be writing stuff that we want it to write to a file. For example, let's go back here and let's look at this one. Why do you guys think my name is in the log is in this log file? Why do you guys think my name is in that log file? Because of that. Because I... It still didn't work. Damn it. Why am I getting 302s? Is this a not an HTTPS request? Come on, stop. Okay. Does everyone see how that's happening? What's happening is, if we go back and look at the code, if we go back and look at the code here, this name this page, the main page here at the root, is accepting a name parameter. It is then printing that name parameter to the console. That's why it's ending up in that log file. It's ending up in this log file because according to this command up here, the output of this, the console output of this Java application, is being written to this log file with the T command. And we can put arbitrary data in there. Now, the question is, what are we going to write? Let's make sure that we can write to an arbitrary place first. One thing at a time. I'm quite sure this is the correct path. I deeply remember, we looked at this, and I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And now it's making sense. I'm like Kronk in The Emperor's New Groove. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. This has got to be the correct path, because we can write arbitrary data to the console using this printline command. And that arbitrary data can be written to an arbitrary file as root through this logging function. The question is, which file will we write to? Because we're going to write a whole bunch of fucking junk. Like, obviously, if we just look at one of these log files, if we just look at this log file, for instance, a lot of junk is being put into it. Okay? And I don't know exactly what we're going to write to yet. So let's make sure, let's refine our exploitation path first. The first thing we need is to get root to write to an arbitrary file in a different directory. rm test.txt, and then we can decide what we're going to write to. So we're going to have to write a bash script to generate a whole bunch of dates. So how do we get epoch time in bash? Get current time in seconds since the epoch. The epoch, as the sweaty nerds in chat insist upon. That looks good. How many digits is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Okay, so we have a way to get epoch time there. Trying to think about how I'm going to script this out. Can the date tac h? Current time. So we're just going to have to set, we're going to have to take, so what we're going to need to do is this, nano, write SymLink .sh. Okay, so first we're going to have to take the date. So that date command. So we can get that with this. And we can say current time equals, I don't think there can be equals there. Okay, so we're setting a variable for okay, how do you do, I can never, we have to do a for loop using a sequence. I want to do like sequence 1 to 60. It's like 4 I in 1 dot 60. That seems fine. Like that? Do? Is that correct? It's got to be braces. Oh my god, I fucking hate Bash. I already fucking hate it. Jesus Christ. Let me just, because people in chat are going to tell me 50 different ways, and only one of them is going to be correct. I'm not listening to chat. Chat is going to tell me 50 different things, and none of them are going to be useful. Sequence 160. Perfect. Okay. For I in... We'll do it this way. Sequence 160. Do. Okay, time equals current time. How do we want to do this? So it's going to be... Can we put this in parentheses? I remember we had a problem with arithmetic last time. ln tac s.
Bashash da dash bashash da dash go burr.
Well, we're figuring it out. Thank you for the 69 nice Tiggle Bitties. Tomcat Logs. $time.log. Is that, I can't imagine that's going to work. File name equals $time. How do I concatenate a string in Bash? Everyone's trying to help in chat. I'm not listening. Last time it took 5 times longer than it would if I'd have just used the goddamn... $var1. Because everyone in chat tells me different ways of doing it, and none of it makes any... And you're all wrong. So there we go. There's $time, I think. No, I'm going to do it this way. Put this in print in quotes, make it a string. That was correct, isn't it? Right host bash is greater than PowerShell. We're not doing that. They both have annoyingly they both have very annoyingly painful syntax. Time.log. Okay, ln-tac-s. Dollar file name. Oh no, the file name that we're linking. Yeah, we'll call this one target. Target equals temp Cthulhu.txt, I guess. Target and then link name. So we set the target. The target is going to be $target. And then the link name is going to be $file name. We'll just call this link name just to be consistent. Okay. And then we do done to terminate the loop. So let's see if that works first. We'll just do bash. File exists. What? Okay, so it did not do the arithmetic. Everything else is working, it's just not doing the arithmetic. That actually went better than I expected. That actually went much better than expected. Okay, so how do we actually do this arithmetic, chat? Time is reserved in bash? Okay, time 1. Fuck's sakes. Time 1. Boom. We fixed it. But it's not that. It's this arithmetic isn't getting done. So it needs to be dollar and then double parentheses. Like that. Oh, we don't get any errors. Oh, baby. Okay. So, if my calculations are correct, there should now be a Cthulhu.txt over here. Oh my god. Chat. I'm such a galaxy brain. How do I do it? How does he do it, chat? Oh my god, this is what you're here for. These wrinkly brain hacks right here, chat. That's what you're here for. Okay? Fucking wrinkly brain. Does anybody have any questions on how that works? Does anybody have any questions on how that works? Thank you for the people who told me the double parentheses. So we can now force root to write to an arbitrary file anywhere on the system. But the problem we're going to have is it's going to write a whole bunch of garbage. As you can see, it writes a whole bunch of garbage, but we can write arbitrary things in here. hello, please subscribe. And if we look at Cthulhu.txt here, we scroll down to the bottom, we see please subscribe. So we can write arbitrary lines in here. I'm here, what are we doing? We're finishing spring. You were here last time, Tiberius. You just missed the bash molding. We got through the bash molding, I believe. You downloaded part of a garbage file and you did this from your house. So we can force root to write to an arbitrary... So I need your ideas, Tiberius, okay? I need your wrinkles. We can force root to write to an arbitrary file in an arbitrary directory. And we can put arbitrary data into that file. But the caveat is that the file has a whole bunch of garbage in it. Because it's going to have all of the output of this Java application. So if I write to Etsy passwd, it's going to break it. If I write to Etsy sudoers, it's going to break it. What file can I write to that will not break? Do you have any ideas for a file? What's the web server running as? The service itself is running as root. It's suing down to nobody. We're writing as root here. This is root. So we can write to any file on the system, but we're going to write a whole bunch of garbage Java stuff, and then we can inject our arbitrary data into it. So the question is, what file can we write to gain code execution as root? Etsy sudoers will break it. I'm 90% sure that if we overwrite Etsy sudoers, it's going to break it. With all this random garbage in there. I'm 99% sure that we're going to brick the whole system if we overwrite Etsy passwd this way. Actually, we might be able to pull it off. No, we're going to brick the system. We'll definitely break the system if we write it we'll definitely break stuff if we write it as Etsy passwd. It's too messy. Is the service spring sh file in root? What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about. You think that writing bin bash to a bash script would run that right? It's not executing the file. This file is not getting executed by root. It's just being written as root. We need to write to some file that gives us code. Would crontab work? Would this break crontab to have all this random garbage in it? If we had all this random garbage in crontab, is it going to fail? Try authorized keys? Well, SSH... Actually, that might work. No, that actually might work. Because... I actually think that might work. I actually think you might be right about that. Because I think SSH will ignore any line that it can't parse. I think it will just go down each line. And if the key doesn't... If it either cannot parse the key or the key doesn't match, it'll just move to the next line. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Okay, let's do that then. Let's go back to the home directory. Let's nano write symlink.sh. And we'll write to root.ssh authorized keys. Okay. And we can bash write symlink.sh. And then we can restart the server again. Okay. And now at this point, we can try... John Smith RSA.pub. We can try writing this into the file. We will need to URL encode it. Boy, this person has a weird name. And now we can try. (1010 111 202). Good call on authorized keys. I didn't even think of that. I was wondering if I was actually thinking cron. I was actually thinking cron. It didn't occur to me to try to write to authorized keys for some reason. So, if we look at this, it's a bunch of garbage, but the last line is a legitimate SSH key. So apparently, SSH just skips all of this crap, and just cares about that. That's very useful. Very nice. Oh man, I was just thinking that today, Tibbs. I need to get my own root emote. I need to get my own root emote. And I actually think I know I'm going to do it. I think I'm actually going to go on Fiverr and get an artist to make it for me. Because I know what I want it to look like and everything. But, yeah, so we did. Does everyone understand how we got root there? That was quite an interesting privesc vector. That was quite an interesting privesc. Walks into stream almost 3 hours late. You were instrumental. I wouldn't have thought of... for some reason, I mean, I normally think of authorized keys when we have root file, right? But in this case, I think I was thinking cron mostly. I was wondering if cron would break if we wrote a bunch of garbage to it. But, yeah, you came in at the right time. That was pretty nice. We can try cron, yeah. No, we can't do cron because we'd have to restart the cron service. We do not have the rights to restart cron. So even if we wrote to the cron tab and it worked, we would not be able to restart the cron service to make the changes take, if that makes sense. We do not have the permissions. Jeff Ram, thanks for the 69 Tiggle biddies. Daz, thank you for the follow. Can we try dropping a reverse shell in Mott D as well? What you could maybe do is you could maybe you could try writing to roots like bash rc file or something. Roots bash rc file might work. You could drop a reverse shell into roots bash rc file, and then when next time root actually logs in, you'd get a reverse shell. How would Mott D work? Could we not write to bash completion D? Yeah, you could, but we'd have to log back into the system. Yeah, I think that we probably could do bash completion D, I think bash completion D would work. I think it would. Yeah, there was that one, bash completion D. What was that one? James? Whatever that box was that we did, that had the James email server or whatever. We did that recently. You could write to that as well. Could you not write to Etsy password? We can, but we would overwrite Etsy password. So Etsy passwd would look like authorized keys does now. It would look like this, which would mean all of the user accounts would be destroyed. The web server might not even be able to start. The whole machine would basically be bricked. You wouldn't want to do that. I don't think you'd want to just overwrite all of Etsy passwd. That doesn't sound Oh, no. It overwrites the file entirely. Etsy Pass WD, I'm pretty sure, would brick the system. This one was a very elegant solution because apparently SSH just ignores all of this. And just goes right down to here. Alrighty. Well, I think that's, we're in kind of a, it's a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, but we're in kind of an awkward limbo where if I start a new box, the stream's going to be over 4 hours. So, I think tonight I'll just leave it there. We had a successful ending. I guess we could play around with this a little bit more. Maybe. We can't do cron because we can't rewrite. Oh, let's do Stream Raiders for sure. We can hang out and talk a little bit. I'm not running off or anything. Easy box? Oh, that was a cool box. I think that the password vector was a little bit questionable. I think it was realistic, but not altogether all that great for CTF. It was pretty obtuse. The only reason we guessed it is because a bunch of the passwords looked similar. And also because of the git commit. The git commit also hints at it, in fairness. You could do it, modify authorized host, and delete out the rest of the garbage. Well, yeah. Yeah, obviously, if you cared about cleaning up after yourself, you would want to clean up authorized keys, establish a more clean persistence. But what I want you guys to take away from this... By the way, well done, Medikin and Jiffaram. Nice job. What I want you guys to take away from this is when you have an arbitrary file write as root, check to see if you can control the directory. If you can write to the directory, can you write to the directory that root is writing into? If you can, you should immediately be thinking, can I force root to write to a symlink? If you can force root to write into a symlink file, you have arbitrary file write as root anywhere on the system. And then it's just a matter of figuring out a way to get your arbitrary data into the file. Have you utilized any hardware hacking tools, Sharkjack, Ducky, Pineapple, etc., in any of your real-life pen tests? Have you had any success with them? Yeah. One of them that we've used was a wireless dongle. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a wireless dongle that would hijack... it would hijack Bluetooth. It would hijack wireless devices. And honestly, we just walked through their office space. We literally set up a laptop with this little USB dongle plugged into it, and the USB dongle is broadcasting to all wireless devices in the vicinity. I don't remember what it was called. And essentially what it does is it's the wireless device is it's just a peripheral like a keyboard. And you can send keystrokes to those wireless endpoints. So it's essentially, we just had rogue wireless keyboard. We had a little USB dongle that impersonated a rogue wireless keyboard, and we had it open up the run box and execute a PowerShell reverse shell. And we just walked through one floor of their corporate office, and we popped 30 shells, like immediately. We had like 30 fucking shells coming in. It was nuts. So yeah, that was a little bit of hardware hacking. We do wireless stuff. I do wireless stuff every once in a while. Wireless is kind of boring because you catch the handshake, you try to crack it. You sometimes do the rogue endpoint thing, try to get people to log into your rogue endpoint. That's if they have WPA2 Enterprise. It's not all that interesting. Wireless isn't all that interesting, but honestly, we should do a stream where we talk about wireless stuff. We honestly should do that. I've been thinking about it for a while, and we honestly should, because wireless is important. A lot of clients want you to test their wireless stuff. Oh, by the way, the root flag even says, SSHD does not mind the junk. What kind of wireless keyboard doesn't use encryption? How about all of them? Just remember, Nito. Just remember, the S in IoT stands for security. Yeah. What terminal are you using? This is Tmux, but this oh my Tmux. This is called oh my Tmux. Yeah, I see that multiple people in chat are figuring out the joke in real time. They're figuring out my joke in real time. They're putting it together. The S in IoT stands for security. And people in chat are like, wait, Al, there's no S in IoT. Chat sharing the single brain cell, trying to put that one together. Let's just do a Q&A. Let's just do a Q&A for a bit. What questions do you guys have about anything? Starting a new job soon as a red team operator, managed to escape pen testing. Well, you're still in pen testing. Red team is just a very specialized form of pen testing. But that's great. I'm a red team operator myself. I love it. I hope you have a good... I hope it's everything you expect it to be. I hope it's everything you want it to be. I genuinely do. Raiders is currently running. It's running. Your garage door opener has more security than IoT? Oh yeah, I'd say that's definitely the case. A garage door opener has a vested interest in being secure. So... Do you have any tips on looking for artifacts of your exploits? Well, the key is to, first of all, know what your exploit does. Know how it works. If you don't know how your exploit works, you basically have no chance of finding any artifacts that have potentially been left behind. But once you do, if you know how your exploit works, that's a good start. Consider if there are any log files, if there's any logging occurring for the application that you exploited. If there's any logging occurring for the application you exploited, you're probably going to see some artifacts from your exploit in that log file. If you start executing commands on the system, you may be writing to a bash history file if you're running as a user. These are all things to keep in mind. You probably don't want to be doing that. What do you do when Google screams of a vulnerable service or something, but Searchsploit returns nothing? What do you mean? I mean, sometimes Searchsploit is pretty reliable. A lot of times, I would make sure that the version is the same. A lot of times, Google will not pay as much attention to the software version. Make sure you got the versions matching up. But if Searchsploit doesn't say anything, but Google is telling you there's a vulnerability, then you should look into that. Verify that and test it out. Would love a cheat sheet based on types of exploits. I mean, that's pretty tough because exploits for every different type of software out there, there's all different kinds. With Windows, you've got even more to worry about. Windows tends to be much more verbosely logged. Like, you've got PowerShell logs, you've got ETW logs, you've got just the event. You've just got the regular Windows events. Like, Windows tends to be logged much more egregiously than Linux is, and that's for largely two reasons. Mostly because Windows has more of an attack surface. Like, there's just more Windows out there than there is Linux. So if malicious actors are writing malware, generally they're going to write it for Windows. Looking at where it logs and then documenting it based on the exploit. Oh, that's great. His journalism is great. Wait, who are we talking about? Is Brian Krebs not respected? I mean, I like his blog. His blog is good. But yeah, I hear he's kind of a dickhead. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know him in real life, so I don't really care if he's a dick. The best C2 platform? Oh, that's Cobalt Strike for sure. If you can afford Cobalt Strike, you're going to be using Cobalt Strike. A Husky in chat is going to go, Offensive Notion! Yeah, I'm impressed with Offensive Notion. It looks super nice. It's sexy. Currently, what I would use Offensive Notion for is starting a Cobalt Strike beacon. That would be the function of Offensive Notion. Getting a Cobalt Strike beacon running. Smite Ellis, thank you for the follow. Sacco Coder, thank you so much for the first time indoctrination into the cult. Welcome to the All Has Red team. Cobalt, if you can afford Cobalt Strike, it's the best thing out there right now. Period. Period dot. What about C3? Oh god, are we going up to C3 anytime soon? Is this like a Python 2? Are we going to Python 4? Are we going to Python 4? Have you worked at Prelude at all? I don't know what Prelude is. I'm going to be honest with you. What is Prelude? The Prelude Institute? No, I'm not familiar with it. Suggestion on where to find boxes like this one. This one is on TryHackMe. TryHackMe has some great ones. Hack the Box has great ones. If you're a more of a beginner, TryHackMe is going to be a little bit more approachable for you. Obviously, this box was a little bit much for a beginner. This is a hard... this box is rated hard, I believe. No, fuck you. I just got all my shit ported to Python 3. Dude... I don't even want Python 2 installed on anything anymore. Like, I want to just uninstall it. I think I'm just going to uninstall it from literally everything. I'm going to purge it from all of my VMs. I don't want it in my path anymore. I just don't want it in my path anymore. If I have to run a Python 2 script ever, I'll just start a Docker container. Docker container protects me from having to do a round of chemotherapy after I run a Python 2 script. I hate it when you get a syntax error for Python and you realize it's Python 2. Yeah, I know. And then, yeah, then you're like, well, I gotta go in for another round of chemo. The first intelligent and autonomous platform. Oh, no, I have heard about this. Built to attack, defend, and train your critical assets through continuous red teaming. Okay, well, it's automatic red teaming. I'm already skeptical. It is the first tool designed by Prelude to support our mission of bringing intelligence grade. I think I interviewed with these people. No, I interviewed with these people. They actually offered me a job. No, they actually, in my last time I was looking for a job, I actually interviewed with these people. They wanted me to train this thing. They actually offered me a job. I just think they lowballed me on the salary. I thought it sounded pretty cool. I have not run into it yet, and I am skeptical that there's going to be a competent AI red teamer in the next 2-3 decades. It's just not... red teaming requires an extensive amount of critical thinking and knowledge of how to manipulate people and human interaction, and I just don't see a computer being good at that for a while. I just don't see a computer being good at that. So, as a reminder, next week, I believe next week on, if I'm feeling spicy, we'll do it on Sunday. If not, we'll do it on Cthulhu of next week. But we're going to start going into cryptocurrency. And again, I have to reiterate it for people who weren't here for the discussion. We're not here to invest in cryptocurrency. Okay, we're not talking about investments. When I'm talking about cryptocurrency, we're not talking about investments. We're not talking about buying the new Al-Hazred cult NFT collection. Okay, we're not doing that. We're talking about fucking big dick smart contract malware. Okay, we're talking about the dark side of cryptocurrency, the dark magics, the dark arts. We're not taking Dogecoin to the moon, okay? We're gonna be starting to explore specifically blockchain technology and specifically smart contracts and Solidity. I would like to start dabbling in research on NFT security. I'd like to just figure out how to write malicious NFTs and just teach people how much of a fucking abomination this technology is in its current form. Reading the documentation, I get really excited because the documentation, you can do some cool shit. And I'm excited to start playing with it. But we're going to be pointing out both the dangers and also the good aspects of this technology. We're going to be digging deep, learning how blockchains work, and specifically learning about the security implications of blockchains. Okay? We want to know, what are the security implications if cryptocurrency becomes more widespread than it is right now? What do we need to be concerned about from a security standpoint? And I know many of you in chat are like, well, crypto is supposed to be super secure. Right? The S, I mean, you're absolutely right. The S in crypto stands for security. Yes. The P stands for privacy. Or, there is a P. Fuck. The P does not stand for privacy. I'm so tired of hearing about stupid crypto. We're not going to be doing NFTs or anything. We're learning coding. We're doing coding. This is the technical aspects. We're digging into... Yes, I know. Yes, spelling hard. Spelling hard. Theoretically, it's very secure. No, it's not. No, it is not. It is absolutely not. Theoretically, it does absolutely nothing to add security to the financial industry, and actually brings a whole bunch more problems, security issues. Just to give you an idea of the cataclysmic failure that is cryptocurrency security, most of the time when you're dealing in NFTs, you're using an online website called MetaMask. MetaMask basically is a manager for all of your wallets and keeps track of all your NFTs for you. So it's essentially a bank account. It's a bankless bank account that contains all of your personal data, all of your money, all of your possessions that you bought through cryptocurrency. You think MetaMask has two... Hey, friends. Raise your hand in chat if you think MetaMask has two-factor authentication. Like, if there's even a two-factor authentication option. I'm not kidding. There's not a two-factor authentication option in MetaMask. I'm not kidding. This is your bankless bank account that contains all of your crypto assets, that links all of your wallets together. It's designed as a central point of failure for all of your to make your interaction with cryptocurrency and Web3, the web of the future, into yes, decentralized, very decentralized, much decentralized, without two-factor authentication. So guess what? Someone guesses your password, you're absolutely fucked. You're absolutely cataclysmically fucked. Like, you are done. Like, hey, guess what? If somebody, hypothetically, of course, if someone hypothetically got into your MetaMask wallet, guesses your password, gets into, or just socially engineers you, which, is what we do, socially engineers you, and gets into your MetaMask wallet, and has access to all of your stuff and just transfers it all out, how do you get all that back? How do you guys think you get all that back? Yeah, you don't. You don't. You're fucked. Guess what? Guess what? It's gone. You don't get it back. It is gone. Flushed down the toilet. The scammer has everything. And because all of your stuff has been transferred out of your wallet legally by the blockchain. And all of that because somebody guessed your password. Hey, Neto, how often do you think somebody pulls a fucking Hackers from the movie Hackers and just fucking hacks the Gibson and puts their fucking hoodie on, okay? And comes into, and just fucking hacks the mainframe and I don't have C-Matrix installed on here. Shit. Hold on a second. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, Hacker Typer is better. We'll do that. Hacker Typer is better. Okay, here I am. We're hacking. We're hacking the blockchain, guys. We're doing it. We're hacking the blockchain. This is it. This is it. We're doing it. We're in. I'm in, boys. I'm in, boys. How often do you think this happens? Versus somebody guesses your password. How often? I'm just gonna answer you right there. The absolute number fucking one way anybody or anything is compromised in the modern day is somebody guesses their password, or their password was breached and showed up in a data breach, or something like that. Somebody compromised your password and broke in. That's why two-factor authentication and password managers are so important for internet security. Because, and this is why cryptocurrency does not fix any problems with the banking industry. It actually introduces a fuckload of more problems. Because now, you have no central regulating authority to protect you from fraud. Nothing protects you from fraud. If someone breaks your password, guess what? All of your shit is now theirs. Guess what? You lost it all. There is no bank. There is no regulating authority. There is nothing short of creating an entire crypto alternate reality with a fork, which you'll never convince the Ethereum people to do without being insanely rich, which has happened. Hey guys, this is fun. You ever wonder why there's Ethereum, but there's also Ethereum Classic? You ever wonder why that is? Does anyone wonder why there are two Ethereums? What's the difference between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic? Yeah, there was a fork. We'll go over this next time. I'm going to go into how blockchains work. I'm going to demonstrate to you in real time how blockchains work and what a fork actually is. But essentially what happens is, yeah, back in 2016, there was this group of, we'll call them cataclysmic dipshits. Cataclysmic greedy dipshits that launched this decentralized investment fund called the DAO. The decentralized DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. It means a lot. It's DAO. There are a lot more DAOs now, but this was the first one. The first time. And guess what? It turns out, it's going to blow your mind here. It turns out that the code from the DAO had some vulnerabilities in it. And it was open source. So immediately after launching, they were hacked like within weeks. Within 2 weeks after launching their new investment fund. And by the way, their investment fund had like 15% of the entire Ethereum economy in it. 15% of all Ether in existence at the time. All of it. That was roughly like $50 million at that time. That was roughly $50 million in Ether. And the hackers, who were never identified as far as I know, were able to transfer out a third of all of that. Like $15 million. Yeah, that's a fantastic bug bounty. Sick bug bounty, bro. And because at the end of the day, the rich people actually control everything. The rich people literally control everything, even in crypto. The entire Ethereum network was immediately forked to undo that hack and get everybody and get the DAO's money back. That is how crypto works. That is the reality of it. And we're going to point out a lot of positive aspects of this technology, genuinely. Which was a good thing. Yeah, important lessons were learned about cryptocurrency that day, Tibbs. Important lessons were learned. And we never dabbled in cryptocurrency again. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the timeline in which we then invented NFTs, which are little packets of code that you can send directly to anybody. This is my favorite part, actually. My favorite part is NFTs. We're going to be dealing in these NFTs because I am deeply interested in malicious NFTs. NFTs, you think of them as like ape pictures. It only works if most people supported it. Erroneous. The fork only works if the majority of the validator nodes, if the majority of the validator nodes support it, and the rich people control all the validator nodes. Very decentralized. Much decentralized. Very decentralized. Yes. Tremendously. I can feel the decentralization from here. NFTs, you think of them as ape pictures. They're not actually that. The metadata can point to an image, and that's what they're commonly associated with. But NFTs also have little packets of code. Little packets of code that execute on the Ethereum network. If you don't know, we'll go over this again too. Ethereum is actually a massive distributed virtual network. It's a giant computer. The Ethereum network is a gigantic computer that executes, a giant decentralized computer that executes these smart contracts of these NFTs. So if you were to, say, write a malicious NFT, malicious smart contract, and then get it into somebody's wallet, and they ever interacted with it at all, to like transfer it, delete it, send it anywhere else, sell it, stake it, if they tried to interact with it at all, it steals all of their Ethereum. That's entirely possible. But I know what you're thinking. Al, how would one get the NFT into their wallet? Surely they would have to accept the NFT from you. You would have to, it's like clicking on an email, right? Nope. You can just send it to them. You can just send it to them and it will show up in their wallet. And guess what? If they ever interact with it at all, it will suck up all of their cryptocurrency. Tibbs! I said the same thing. I said the exact same thing. That can't be how it works. I assure you that it does. I absolutely assure you that it does. That is how it works. If an NFT is in your wallet, it has the permissions to transfer funds out of that wallet. Are we talking about specific website wallets? We're talking about Ethereum. This is specifically on Ethereum, but it will work on other blockchains as well. There's nothing to prevent this. This is by design. This is not a feature. This is not a bug. It's a feature. Yeah, fun. Yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun playing with it, boys. I assure you, we're going to have a lot of fun playing with this absolute dumpster fire of implementation. It's absolutely buck wild that software developers who claim to care about security. Do you have a source? I'm interested in reading. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll have to contact me on Discord. Well, I'll reach out to me on Discord, Tibbs, and I'll send you the I'll send you what I read on the subject. But I assure you, this does happen. Malicious NFTs that can steal all of your stuff. They're a scourge. They're a scourge. And that's why everyone suggests that you keep your wallet as private as possible so that nobody knows your wallet and nobody knows how to send NFTs to you. They're not stored on the ledger automatically. If they're on your wallet, if they're in your wallet, and you interact with them at all, guess what? Yeah. Botman and Red Latam, thank you for the follows. Chad B. Noob, thank you so much for the 3 new cult initiates. Who is Sin, Nito, and Tiberius? Welcome to the All Has Red team. All right. I guess we're raiding Dino Dan again today. Time to make a box for TryHackMe or Hack the Box. It's RCE over NFT for initial access. It doesn't work that way. Again, the code executes on the EVM.
For TryHackMore Hackbox that is over NFT for initial access.
Yeah, it execute. You'd have to come up with. There'd have to be some kind of vulnerability in the client being run on the node, in order to get it's almost like a sandbox breakout. Mr. Streamer, you're gonna hang for Saucy Saturday? Yeah, I'll be there for Saucy Saturday this week. Thanks for the 100 Seagull biddies. The malicious code executes on the EVM, the Ethereum Virtual Network. You would need to somehow escape the sandbox, and I'm not sure if there's a way to do that. I've only just started digging into it. Raid blacks in cybersecurity? I'm not familiar with that. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll drop them a raid. I'm not familiar with this channel, but it looks like they're talking about... It looks like a good group. We'll drop it. All right, so we start our journey into cryptocurrency next week. Bring your wrinkly brains, okay? Bring your wrinkly brains, because I don't want your money, but I want your brain wrinkles, okay? I want to learn. I want to learn about crypto. Bring your willingness to learn about crypto and specifically how to hack it, okay? We're going to be hacking into it, okay? All right, go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. Feel free to reach out to me. Only allows in-network raids. Okay, I can't raid blacks in cybersecurity. I'm sorry. It doesn't... apparently they don't allow raids. Oh my god. Okay. All right. So, again, I don't know what we're going to do on Sunday. We might do crypto on Sunday. We might do, or we might just do Fun Day Sunday. I haven't decided. We'll see. We'll see if I feel ready. I'm trying to do some tinkering with crypto on my own time before I bring it into stream. Because as much as I want to show you guys the learning process, it's also not fun to just watch me reading documentation for 3 hours. There's a lot of documentation to read. There's a lot of learning. I have to learn a whole new programming language for this. So... yeah, go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. I'll see you guys again when the stars are right. Have a good night, day, or whatever time it is wherever you are. Stay safe and get vaccinated. Love you all.